So as I'm working on doing the audiobook for my memoir, once again revisiting my time as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I thought it was interesting that when I first came across Jehovah's Witnesses in 1996, age 14 and a half, and started the so-called Bible study with them, I remember just how benign it all felt. So nothing about that organisation or the people in it gave me any indication that it was actually a religious cult, that it was a high control group, or that my life will be taken over by this organisation to the extreme level where there is nothing personal or individual left. So obviously, as many people already know, Jehovah's Witnesses, basically, it's a very highly involved cult where your whole life and aspect of it gets taken over, and you have to basically, it's like they say, you dedicate your life, well, they say Jehovah, but it's actually the organisation. And the more I read comments from those who have left and who have been brought up as Jehovah's Witnesses, talking about their childhood experiences, their teenage years, the more I realise, especially now as I'm studying psychology at university, just how harmful this organisation, their beliefs and their practices, how harmful they are to growing minds and psyche. And I'm not just saying it from the point of view that, I didn't have a good time. No, I'm saying it as from the point of view of learning the development of the brain, development of the attachment styles, or even like what it means, like what is a brain injury. And brain injury isn't just when you have a physical accident. Brain injury can also be invisible. It can be developmental, if I can get my words out right. So any kind of trauma whilst the brain is developing will alter the way the neurons work or the way the brain communicates within itself. And I obviously didn't know that until I started doing my degree. So straight away it raised questions for me. Is like how many problems that adults have actually started because they've had some sort of emotional, mental, psychological trauma that is literally altered their brain and the way the brain functions and responds. And anyone can really do that sort of research, but obviously from my study books as well, it was very interesting for me to look at that aspect of the how the brain develops and the how it the neurons, the synapses, like the different parts of the brain. So that raised the question for me straight away, and about the harm that is done for the kids that grow up as Jehovah's Witnesses. Like I said, I met them at 14 and a half. They seemed really benign, honest to God truth, and I don't even believe in God. Not the Christian God anyway. It just, to me, they presented themselves as just a little group, a little organisation who were dedicated on printing Bibles and helping people understand more about the Bible. Literally, that's how they presented themselves to me, because that's why we agreed to the so-called Bible study for me at 14. And the magnitude of what it actually means, or what they do, how they rope you in, the manipulation, the deceit, the gaslighting, the love bombing, everything. It is, the more I look at it now through the lens of psychology and what I'm learning, it is shocking. And it is like, this needs to be talked about. This is not just a cause affecting adults. This is an organization. It's literally creating brain injury in growing kids. And I'm not exaggerating, because when you start looking into biological psychology of how the brain develops and how trauma alters the brain and the nervous system, it is really that serious. So to those who have been born and raised as Jehovah's Witnesses and who have come out, I'm so sorry you've had to experience that. And like I said, I wasn't born in it, but obviously I came into it as a teenager, and it still created so much damage in, like, because those were still years that my brain was still developing, and I was still growing. So that's something I wanted to share. It's kind of, I think it's a very serious point, and I don't think it's going to be the last time I talk about it. I feel quite passionate to bring in awareness to this issue about what being in that kind of organisation does to children, teenagers. And it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. We know there's other organisations similar to that. I can't really name any names, but from what people tell me, I would say it's like Mormonism and others that are very cultish. From personal experience, I can only speak about Jehovah's Witnesses, obviously. But yes, I will be sharing more research that I do, but it's just something I wanted to bring to those who watching this video, that don't feel bad about being angry. You've got all the right to be angry, because literally you received a brain injury. That's really it. You growing up, being made to do the things that you had to do, being dragged to knock on doors, not allowed to celebrate things, being an outcast at school, all those experiences, it's abuse. It was abuse. Not particularly, I'm not saying the parents purposely went to do that because they believed they were doing what's right, but definitely the more research there is in about the brain development, and about trauma, the more obvious it is that this organisation's policies and the way the organisation functions is extremely harmful, especially to young people, to children. So that's it for now. I will be sharing more research that I learn about it and try to explain it. And just wanted to put it out there because I think it's time this is brought into the wider public and people become aware of, like, actually what do these groups do, like how, the impact of it. So thank you for watching. I will speak to you soon.